Okay, great. Well, welcome back. Today we have Oran Hartwell, PA. Welcome. How are you, sir?
Doing fine, doing fine.
Doing
Mm,
fine.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm a client myself. I got to meet you, luckily, about 2 months ago, and I just really enjoyed your passion about everything that you offer. You were educational. Your excitement was contagious, and you piqued my curiosity. So, like others, I'm sure we're going to be here today just to talk a little bit about your background, but everything that you offer, and a lot of the unknowns to the general public that you see that are peptide therapy, all these microneedling, all this stuff that CJC. I mean, it's very intriguing to me, and I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Glad for the that you invited me. So,
Well, I'm
um,
glad you came.
yeah. Uh, Regenerative Arts Anti-Aging. That's one of the things that we invented or came up with in order to accumulate a lot of different fields,
Okay.
all in one under one roof. All right.
Gotcha.
I have a long history of working with social media.
Social media, but so
But
you came. Let's step back a little
yeah,
bit, and I think where your background kind of tells the story and the evolution was you have a military background.
yes, yes, I
And
have been.
so one thing I wanted to know was so you in the military, you were a combat veteran, but also were you on the medical side as well?
Yes, yeah, I was a
Okay.
combat veteran. I was a medic and I was a nurse also.
Nice.
In that, I think that was part of my way of one getting out of Mississippi.
Okay. Yeah.
The other thing is it introduced myself to all kinds of things that in the medical field that was possible.
Sure.
Army is that way. I mean, if you're good at doing something, they let you do it. And
Exactly.
so there was a little less limitations there.
Okay.
And so I love the thing about military, it's task oriented.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of people in the military are that way. They get a focus and they
Hmm.
get a task, and that's what they're oriented
And
toward.
they put a plan in place, they execute,
Exactly,
and
exactly.
it's you know uh, situation, task, end result. Give
Right.
it to me. Let's figure it out. Let's do it as a team. Cohesiveness.
Yes.
Um, so you ran all the way from Mississippi, but then you ran back into Dr. Kenny here, right?
Right. So
Another,
yeah.
y'all are good friends. He's
Mhm.
I've known him for years. Great dude. And so how y'all kind of realigned and everything was super interesting.
Excellent. Yes. I actually saw him a couple of times. I did surgery for about 20 years,
Okay.
orthopedic surgery. He actually came into one of the cases
Uh-huh.
and we caught up then.
Yeah.
And he was telling me all these different plans he had. He wasn't actually in the side of hormones yet,
Okay. Okay.
but he was studying it. And so later on down the road, I started myself having problems with hormones.
Okay.
And so there's where our paths crossed again. I
Nice.
actually gave him a call and I said, look, these are the symptoms.
Yeah.
Every doctor wants to give me something for antidepressants or
Yeah.
for depression or for, you know, pain or something like that. But no one was addressing, I think, the root cause.
Correct.
And we say
Treat
that
the
all the
symptoms,
time.
right?
Everyone's treating the symptoms, but no one's going after the cause. And so
Correct.
he said, you should come out and look at low T.
Yeah.
And there I was a skeptic, and like
Yeah.
most people trained in the way medicine is trained,
Yes.
I couldn't get away from the evidence-based medicine, and that's the hard thing.
Mm-hmm.
When you're taught in school, you're taught something that is already 15 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and so then
It should be the fastest evolving field
would think.
you know.
And they do make us do CMEs and all those things to increase our medical knowledge, but at the same
Of
time,
course.
it's always a older or something that is still
Yep.
toward the original text.
Yep.
Now, I think things has to change, and we are seeing the result of it now. If you're going to teach something or treat something now, you really need to get something that's latest.
Yeah.
right off of the press.
Cutting edge, if
Cutting
you will.
edge, yes, and that's the way medicine's got to go.
So with that being said, with the cutting edge, is it the risk takers or, it hadn't been proven 100% effective? Is there's always a little bit of a risk behind being on the forefront of advancement?
True. No, there's a lot of risk of being on the forefront.
Yeah.
That's the plus minus.
Sure.
One, you get the latest and greatest,
Mm-hmm.
but then you have to watch out for
You said it, the charlatans.
The charlatans.
Yes.
I use that word a lot.
You did.
But it's charlatans because I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of people who totally believe, who are people who are out there for the right reason.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are people who are selling for a quick buck.
Correct.
And I hate to say it that way, but that's the truth of the industry.
It's
you do have to watch for that. You have to watch for that.
You do, and I was, speaking with Pablo, our engineer, just yesterday at lunch, and talking about, how I've always grown up as in, I'm here to make a relationship, and if I'm selling you something, it's something that you need, not something that you want or I want to sell you.
Excellent.
Because if I make that relationship and we're partners now, the money is going to be a long-term annuity, right? It's not just going to be that quick buck.
Short-term thing.
And to those, those are the ones that can give the industry a bad name, or in every industry.
Right.
In
every industry is the same thing. And there are new things that's going to come out, and that's great. That you should also wait for good evidence.
Yes.
I still believe in evidence-based.
Got it.
And I believe in trying things. There used to be an old rule where you don't try the things on yourself if you're a scientist.
Mm-hmm.
But these days, I do want to know if something hurts, something makes me sick, before I trust it in a person that is asking me for advice. So,
well, you look younger than me, and you've got a son in high school, so
right.
Man, it's working.
I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you my age.
I'm not going to ask either. I'm not going to ask.
Right.
Well, so we started, I guess, with the first topic you said, about hormone replacement therapy.
Right.
So you got into that realm. What are the benefits and potential risks, associated with hormone replacement therapy?
Hormone replacement is a fundamental piece. I'm flying out to Vegas in a couple hours to go out to Longevity Fest.
100 on black for me, please.
Yeah.
Yep.
I stopped doing that. Longevity Fest is something that A4M is the society I'm part of. It's the anti-aging practitioners. And so there's a way that we look at the aging of humans.
Yes.
And one of the things that we look at that are at the top of the list that you must address first is stress
and
hormones. And so we do that, and then, as you probably know, in our clinic, we do that first.
Yes.
Stress you must address, and then hormones you have to address. They're interconnected.
Okay.
And your body deteriorates related to those two. So that's
more
why
stress, deterioration of hormones.
There you go. They're interrelated, and then as the hormones go down, your response to stress is worse.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if your testosterone goes down, you respond to stress you can't respond to stress as well.
Got it.
All right. The testosterone gives you more focus.
Yep.
Kind of throws away the things that are not necessarily important.
Yeah.
And you are able to deal with situations a little bit better.
You're not sweating the small stuff as much.
Exactly.
Right?
It's perception.
Yeah.
It's not the actual stress. It's how you perceive that stress. So that's the thing I think is important about the hormones and the stress. So I can't talk about hormones unless I'm talking about stress.
Interesting. I like that.
That hormone, though, to your question is, hormones can be dangerous, period. They can be, if done wrong.
Sure.
If you're not being monitored. Things like that.
Yeah.
If you're not making sure you have good labs and someone to interpret the labs, one day AI will probably be able to interpret those labs for you. And so I think it will be normalcy. But at this point, it's good to have someone look at those labs and kind of give you an idea, okay, this is why you're having this side effect. This is why you're having that, and preventing anything major. But it can be done safely.
Yeah.
From women's hormones to men's hormones.
Well, and you know, on those labs, back to that, and in what you're talking about, and you see your industry getting a little bit more, looking at a broader scope of these labs, or more panels, if you will, because the traditional industry is touching those 50 or 52. That's basically the companies that own the hospitals that make the meds are treating those 52 that you're seeing, and you know, hearing these stories that I think I mentioned it to you, is where, you know, Dana White, famous UFC owner, he you know, got with those guys that have been the brothers that are big proponents of the NAD and all that, giving him that full panel. I think it was like 3,000 or something, and he was on 8 blood pressure medicine pills a day, and they put him on the right regimen that involved sleep, stress, diet, exercise. He doesn't take any medications
at all.
At all.
It's true.
It's wild.
It happens.
It's so wild.
Yeah.
So, you know, that kind of awareness and looking at that, I mean, you're on the side of the preventative, and the more so, there's preventative, and then there's treating, right?
Right. And that's where I think medicine has to change. We know there's a famous author, escapes me right now, but he started the 3.0, medicine 3.0, and it's pretty much saying we have to start at prevention now.
Yeah. 100%.
The whole system is built on treating.
Yes.
You get sick, you read a certain criteria that's on a lab.
Yeah.
And now the insurance company says you're able to be treated. But now you've already had the damage.
Yeah.
You already have diabetes. Right. You already got eye damage and toe damage and things like that. And that's where we have to change. We have to go look at what can prevent these things.
Okay.
What numbers, what labs are the most important to get the biggest bang for your buck?
Sure.
And I know we probably already talked about it. A1C.
Yeah.
Make sure your sugar's low.
Yep.
And then make sure that hypertension, that your blood pressure's okay.
Yes.
Between those two, that's 50%. As World Health Organization says, that is 50% of a budget for a country in their medical costs. So if you just approach
Did you just say 50%?
50%.
Goodness.
Yes, and that's why if we approach things at the biggest bang and try to prevent certain things, then we can actually help the whole country monetarily in our health service. So,
and then it's just less stress. It's less, you know, overworked employees. I mean, and then, you know, you've got a lot of the uninsured or any other. I mean, it would eliminate so much. Like if you're saying, so that being said, what is your best way to kind of like, what would you say in a perfect world? Is there a suggested age or time in life that you should how frequently you should be getting those panels?
That's a good question.
Proactively, you know, or reactively. It's
insurance company, of course, is going to do the least amount.
Correct.
Of course. I think if they did true preventative, they would save way more money if they, tested everyone's hormones at age 30.
Yeah. So age 30.
Yeah.
Good weight.
Do 2 or 3 panels, just making sure we know what your body likes to be, where you're fine. Then when we're in 40, when your body starts to decline we know where to put you back.
Okay.
Get it?
Yeah.
So things like your testosterone.
Not Kevin as a 20-year-old.
We don't want to be there. We don't want to be
like
there.
30 is that good.
Yeah, when you're still sensible.
Yeah. You've got a little bit of experience under your belt. You're not just, you know.
running amok.
Yeah, running amok. And for women, do you think that is the same age suggested or younger, older?
Going back to Kenny, working with Kenny, I learned early that men's hormones have a certain very, very predictable path.
Okay.
There's easy to predict things. In females' hormones, there is a moving target. So
That
it
makes
is
sense.
not as it is not.
Don't throw
as
anything
simple.
at me, Christy.
Exactly. It's not as easy
Yeah.
as it is with men's hormones. So we have
Gotcha.
to do certain things like the 21 day
Yes.
after your cycle. So we can try to find the target where it's something predictable, things like that. That's when we do labs on females. And it's a reason for it, and there's a formula to it, but it is a lot harder. And even in women, they may be just gave birth. Or it could. There's
a
so
lot of
many
variables
factors.
that could.
There's way more variables.
Sure.
Men are simple. That's true.
Yep.
It's just simpler. Healthcare wise, also.
Sure.
And so in women, we really do take a lot of care to make sure safety's a big deal. It's paramount. Right. 100%.
Well, and I think, what really made me just really hone in and start just saying, Kevin, you've got to take care of your body was, I remember, my IV therapist that I've mentioned a few times, and you guys align in some of the things and the supplements and whatnot. But he, he's the one that created the awareness about my blood pressure. Because the first time that he did it, he's like, dude, what the heck? He goes, you want to be around for your kids, right?
There you go.
And he said, I'm pretty sure your kids want to see you. He goes, your blood pressure, it's not going to hurt you now, but in about 10 years, we'll have a problem. So he scared me senseless. I went to Dr. Kenny, and he got me, going in the right direction. But then after that, it was kind of a chain reaction of just wanting to do more and take care of my body in every way I can.
Right. Start
realizing time's a commodity you don't get back. And when you have children, you watch them grow up real fast. And I think a lot of what you're doing is not only creating awareness, but like you said, preemptively taking care of it before it's a problem instead of reacting to the problem. The damage has already been done.
Right.
Right.
I mean, I can hear it in your voice too.
Yeah.
I think that when you're talking with patients, once you have honed into the things that are most important in their lives, that's when you have the key to making change.
Yep.
And so that's where was your key.
Yep.
For your kids, the future.
Yeah.
Those things make you say, okay, let's make changes that will give me longevity. So there's the term anti-aging.
Yeah.
And that's why it's called anti-aging. It's really not stopping age. It's really stopping the effects of age. The
Correct.
normal effects of age. We're
Yes.
slowing those down by doing sensible things.
Yeah.
That everyone can really do.
Like peptide therapy. Tell me a little bit of that.
Yes, peptide therapy.
Can you explain it? I mean, what it entails and what is its role?
Peptide therapy, and peptides are hot. It's on every Google, every social media, things like that. But peptides really is a substance that we already have in our body that has been or has not been modified and reintroduced to do a specific thing. Our oldest one that we all know is insulin. Insulin does a specific job with sugar and puts it in the muscle. It opens up the cells. It gets it out of the blood because sugar in the blood is a bad thing.
Yeah.
And so we use insulin and it saves lives. Right.
Okay.
Well, now we are getting so good at finding all these messengers that do a specific job. We're starting to recreate them. Semaglutide or Ozempic.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
Great because it's a natural substance that we've mimicked and changed the molecule to where now it lasts a whole week.
Gotcha.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
It is brilliant. And now a person can feel not hungry for a whole week.
Yeah.
They can have their stomach slow down and not make them empty so fast.
Hangry.
Hangry, exactly. Keeps you from being hangry.
Yeah.
All those things. And that's what peptides do a job with a particular that your body's naturally has receptor sites for.
Yeah.
And so that's the brilliance of peptides. And so there's quite a few. There's a lot. CJC.
Yes.
We talk about that a lot. 1295.
That kind of helped with some of my tennis elbow issues. Talk a little bit about that. And I loved your philosophy on it of instead of, just increasing the dose, it was Give your body a break. Take a couple days, 5 days off.
Oh, yes.
Come back to it.
Yes, and that's an anti-pharmacy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Pharma,
it is.
pharma, I think, has a formula sometimes in which they want you to take something every day.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being first out of PA school.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrex, was it Vioxx was the other medication that came to you. They showed you the studies, and it almost seemed like you were malpractice if you gave anything besides this. And then they said you could give it every day.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, can I give it for the rest of the patient's life? I said, yes, every day. Don't miss a dose.
Mm.
Then all of a sudden, 4 years later, Vioxx is pulled off the shelf, and then there's a warning, oh, don't give this every day.
Oh,
It
no.
causes heart attacks.
Oh, no.
See, there's where giving it every day benefited pharma.
Sure did.
But it doesn't benefit the patient. Anything that you give every day, your body's going to adapt to.
Yep.
As humans, we adapt
Correct.
to everything.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that keeps us from being poisoned. You can give a poison, give it long enough, it's no longer a poison.
No.
You see, we've adapted. So if I give any medication over and over and over again, we will adapt. Now, I give hormones over and over again because our body is ready for that and they need that at a specific time. But most everything else we do, we pulsate. As I'm a follower of Dr. David Sinclair.
David Sinclair.
He's the one. Most of the stuff I have built is built around Dr. David Sinclair's from Harvard.
Okay.
He's the anti-aging guru.
Yeah.
He will be speaking in this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, in Vegas. And he called it pulsating.
Okay.
Take a product, you do it for a period of time, and then you stop. One, it gives the body a chance to rest from whatever you're doing.
Yes.
It lets it go back to normal.
Okay.
You've gotten the benefit from whatever you were doing.
Sure.
But then just in case downstream, there's something that it was causing that you were missing. Now your body gets the chance to recover that because there's never a simple formula.
Yeah.
There is one product you put in has a cascade.
Okay.
And having something that there's always a detriment somewhere from whatever you do. So even magnesium, I'm a big magnesium fan.
Yep.
I love it. Take it every night.
Every night, yeah.
But take it a break. You got to give a break. You should always give a thing a break. Change it up.
Yeah.
Melatonin this time if you have problems with sleeping.
Yeah.
Challenge the body, and the body loves challenges.
It does.
The human body does not like to be comforted. Heal by Comfort, I think, is the book. It's written about that philosophy that says the body does not like to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Comfort is what hurts us.
Microneedling. That's like the perfect example of
there
it,
you
right?
go. You're creating micro traumas to the face.
Correct.
And your body responds to that, and it loves to respond by building collagen.
Yes.
Right? Do nothing to the face,
mm-hmm.
and yes, gravity takes over.
Correct. Gravity will take over, or, the other way is like, say, if you did Botox and it'll it's permanently kind of freezing it, but the microneedling, not only, just for aging benefits, but I remember I was telling you how where in the elbow, there's just not a lot of meat on the bone there. And my PT was microneedling in order to kind of disrupt the blood flow there. So the troops would say, hey guys, we got to go fix this down here. And it promotes it, right?
Micro trauma. Yeah, that's called needling. Physical therapists do it. And it's an old treatment, and it's not touted that much. And a lot of people don't order it as enough, but it's amazingly effective. It's almost as effective as PRP itself. I do a lot of PRP, taking the plasma from your blood and take the growth factors and put it in that specific area. But actually causing trauma, needling to the bone, will create your body to ooze the same factors. Not as at a higher volume, but it does create the same thing.
Yeah.
So there's another way to make the body heal itself, and that's a regenerative medicine.
Yeah. And acupuncture versus dry needling, the difference is more of acupuncture is like around the nervous system. Am I correct? And then the microneedling is more about the muscular system, tissue.
Right. And needling itself, really, we're trying to especially in the elbow, in a lot of places in the body. Lack of blood flow is key.
Yeah.
Nutrients is not getting there. And as we get older, it deteriorates a bit. So what we do is cause the microtrauma, which brings blood to the surface. New vessels are made.
Okay.
And new sources of blood supply. Now we've gone around the dead tissue that may be down at the bottom. Now, well, I've done this surgery, been in this surgery many times for the elbow.
Yeah.
All we do is take a little rongeur.
Yeah.
We take the muscle off the bone. We clean all that off until it's bleeding really, really good.
Yeah.
Slap the muscle back on and close it back up.
Wow. And
now, that could be easily done by just sticking hose through the dead tissue.
Yeah.
You know? And that hasn't been in the, if you looked at what the insurance company asked for you to do, they want you to do physical therapy. They want you to do anti-inflammatories.
Yep.
Never mentioned doing needling.
Is it because, I mean, was that just specific to this? Do you think it was because maybe not as many in the field were getting, because it's you have to be kind of it's certified or licensed to do it or trained over it, right? And so not all the PTs, like when mine stopped, was because she went from the Katy location to the Memorial location.
And nobody else knew how to do it.
Nobody else knew how to do it.
So funny, I believe that. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Somebody has to know how to do it and believe in doing it.
That believes
and know how to get. And the other problem with the insurance is, can you even get reimbursed for it?
Oh, no, I had to pay for it out of pocket. But I said, I don't want to take a pill for the rest of my life.
Right.
Like, I don't want this. There has to be a way to heal this that I can do with, yes, I'm willing to put in the work. I will do the exercises. Right. I will do everything that's asked of me. But I think that kind of makes me want to ask you this question is, are they, I guess, anticipating their patients, probably a majority of it laziness, of the follow-up, the required maintenance, or if you will, of, hey, do this, this, and this, I'm going to put the time in to help you get better. Please do your exercises. 9 times out of 10, the patients probably don't. And then it's just all for what? So are they going the easy route and just saying, just take these pills? I don't know. I
think it's the system.
Yeah.
The system itself has been created to where if I want to say, hey, you need a surgery. That's the tissue's dead. Yep. He's having pain. He can't do anything. I need to do surgery. First question the insurance company is going to ask, did you give him pain medicine yet? Or did you give him anti-inflammatories? If you did not check that box, then you can't go to even the physical therapy box. Get it? And then you definitely not go into the surgery box. So that is what has been created by the third-party system that kind of handicaps the doctor into following a cookbook for medicine. And I think that's the thing, the birth of functional medicine, and popularity is going to just get even more and more because people want to get out of sight of that. They're waking up. Right. And realizing, no, this is a cattle trough that we want our doctors to be able to think and come up with creative ways to do things.
Back to Dana White, he's like, I'll go to a doctor if I break my arm, if I need surgery, if I.
That's exactly. He's like,
but I'm not going to them anymore for, other than I needed to call 911 or.
Right.
And so, I do think people are going to wake up. I mean, Kennedy, that he's, now, I mean, he had that first video that was about yellow number 5 and, but it's just, what we're ingesting is I think, you can, agree or disagree, but I mean, I think a lot of the cancer is like sleep, stress, and diet.
It is all, and that's one of the reasons why we attack these things.
Yeah.
Stress, huge. Stress is huge. If your body is in a bad environment, and I have to say it from an anthropology kind of point of view, I love anthropology, and I think everything truly has a basis if you look back. If you're in a bad environment, the system will say, if we're about reproducing, why do you reproduce in this area? Stress is just one of those things that says, hey, get up, move, fight or flight, run, fight, get out of there. But if you're stuck in chronic stress, you gain weight.
Yep.
It's hard to. People have infertility issues.
Yeah.
People have all kinds of
Sleep
diseases,
issues.
sleep issues,
Depression.
all of the depression.
Yeah.
All those things are related. But is that not the system just saying move?
Yeah.
Like a nomad, just move to a different place.
Correct.
Right. Get out of that area. And so chronic stress, especially in America, is one of the number one things. And every time I go down to A4M and Longevity Fest, they talk about this thing.
Yeah.
Stress.
Yeah.
How important that is. And the happiness of people, one, but the longevity also.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like you said, those go together as well.
They go hand in hand. They go hand in hand.
But you're right. Get up and do something else, right? I think it was you were telling me about how, one of a gentleman was just banging on his computer in the wrong position, just posture, everything, and the simple fix was go hit a punching bag for 30 minutes.
Right. There was a cubicle, and he was working in a cubicle, and that was one of the patients that I felt bad for, because as you interview a person, and we take so long over at our place because half of the analysis is when you're talking.
Correct.
I can see it in your face. I can see where you're going. Open the question, let you go. And then you start to see the patterns. You see how they're stressed, how they're related to what's really going on at the basis of it. And then you see, I'm working in a cubicle. I've got to constantly go.
Yeah.
I got constant deadlines. I have middle manager of my, and I say, look, you can't move. You're in a fight and flight situation. It's just one of the worst things. Cortisol's meant for you to fight or flight.
Yeah.
And you're sitting perfectly still. At the same time, your heart rate's up. Your pupils are dilated. You're sweating. All those things. And you think those are the signs outside. But on the inside in your organs and things, they're getting beat up.
Yeah, they are.
They're getting trashed. Because that's not what you're supposed to do. If you're in that situation, you need to burn that cortisol. And I told him, I said, look, as long as you got that job, I want you to do this. You get real stressed, run to the closet, bathroom, something like that. Just knock out 10 push-ups.
Yeah.
And tell me how you feel after. And he says, it was great. He would go out there and he did 40.
Yeah.
He would knock out 40 push-ups, and he said, I felt so great. It felt like I was walking upright again.
And so what did that lead to? Probably him exercising more, getting better rest, having less stress.
Just like what you said, one part led to the other. And then he looked at the whole life and his work-life balance. It led one to the other and say, okay, this is not worth it. Get it?
Yeah.
So then you're not so beat down that you think there's no other option.
Correct.
And so that's one of those situations where I love to talk about, because I just saw that transition, that journey that we started, but he took it on and
ran with it.
Right. And how many years that we probably helped him shave off.
Well, and to this tout you, or you could have given him something and made money off of him, but you gave him a simple just change in life.
Exactly.
So now, in my opinion, I mean, he's going to trust you with his life and go to you, because he's going to be like, this guy changed my life and didn't, make $1 or a quick buck. It was something simple.
I did give him magnesium.
Yeah.
There's another one.
Well,
Magnesium's one of our.
Saying it's like, that's not a common practice. But back to patient education. And I did notice like that when Anna told me to come, when I booked my appointment, she said, he wants to get to know you first. So you're going to come in. So plan on being here, a little bit longer today, because before we put anything in place, we want to get to know you. And I respected and appreciated that, because like you said, the patients are going to kind of let you read the writing on the wall, if you will. Right.
Right.
So your typical client onboarding process, how does that go?
Well, we usually get them. Well, I do have a good staff.
Yeah.
It's the beginning of Anna.
You do.
Christy, they both look through things and they kind of give me a heads up, kind of what we're looking at, backgrounds. We are already analyzing before you even get here.
Gotcha.
So we can know when we sit down, are we going to be sitting in the hot chair we call, or are we going to be sitting in the living room style where we're relaxing and talking? Because sometimes that's where the conversation needs to be. So we've realized that, and when we do it and we sit down, a lot of times we're probing to figure out where to start. Plan? I've already looked at your arms, your legs, see where your muscle tension is. I'm looking at the color of your skin, seeing how much perfusion that it seems like you have. Do you have too much? Do you look like you have polycythemia, which is means just too much red blood, hematocrits in your red blood cells a little bit too high. All those type of things. If your body physique, all of that matters in making a decision. And so
just how to approach things, because everybody's different, right?
Everyone's different.
There's no cookie cutter way to treat someone. I love
doing that, because if you stop and not just inductive reasoning, which means I know he's going to need hormones when he comes through the door, then I'll put every bit of evidence to support what I've already decided to do. Right. You have to scratch that. You have to scrape that. In orthopedics, I looked at a thumb today. In the thumb, she says, this hurts right here. And I was all over everything. And she said, but it hurts right here. And I just, okay, but what about here? And all this. And then at the end, she says, you just went everywhere. And then I touched the spot. She's like, oh, that's where it is. I say, if I don't look for everything else, I don't have the whole picture. You've already told me where you think it is, but it may be related to trigger finger. It could be some other thing that helping this become a problem. Maybe you have arthritis. Maybe you have rheumatoid. I'm checking for rheumatoid nodule. I'm checking for everything, so I'm not distracted by what you have. Because if that's the case, I'm just going to treat you. And that's where we go back to just treating the symptom.
How we're wired. Because that's the way we've,
But if we can find the genesis, maybe that's caused by a systemic thing. So we have to look at it. And so that's why we make sure we come here and say, you probably remember, what's your goal? That's usually our first question. What's your goal?
What did I tell you? Be around when my kids graduate, and
what are you here for? That's the question. Why did you come in to see us today?
It was, for me, it was, obviously to do what I can for my body that I'm capable of doing, right? And not being reactive of, oh, shoot, it's too late, and then kicking the can down the road is what I always call it. And I would rather give my best to what I can do, knowing that I've done that. And then also free me up for those nights of maybe a little too much alcohol. It's not going to hurt as much because I took a little bit better care.
We even talk about that. Yes, if you're going to do that, let's put moderations. Let's put these cheat days in there. Let's put balance. And 100%. That's it. 100%.
And it is. It's balance, right? If you're going to abuse it, like when I go to Vegas. Perfect example. I take the following 2 days off because I know I'm going to need to recover. Lots of water. And,
hydration.
Yes, that is. So what do you see, your industry, future? What's coming in the future of anti-aging medicine or practices that you're probably going to find out a lot this weekend, right? But,
yes.
You'd mentioned AI earlier about the panel testing and whatnot. How are you seeing it now being introduced? And
AI is everywhere. AI is everywhere. I heard once it was like fire to humans. And more I get into it, more and more I believe it. I actually use it in the clinic. So I second check my answers with AI. And I have my own, so it's trained. So it actually researches everything. Make sure there's something I didn't forget. It'll tell me if I forgot something. Things like that.
Second set of eyes.
Second set of eyes. In all of the products that they're coming up with, AI is helping them figure out even more products. So if that works, then this should work.
Well, similarities, like you said, from the peptides. Insulin. Well, why not?
Exactly.
That it's pretty cool. I mean, when you think about it, and I think that's really Big Pharma wasn't very happy about it. And you started reading that, and I read into a big article about it, and it's because they can, be proactive and teach you based on knowing and learning, right? there is specifics that you want to give it all the information so it can give you the best
answer you get.
Garbage
in, garbage out is the term.
I like that.
But if you do train your own AI, and I think that's the future.
Yeah,
it is the future, and I love it because I guess I'm a crazy libertarian. I kind of believe in 100%. People and their own right to do things and things like that. But here's the thing: if you have your own AI, and now you can get your own information.
Yep.
You can walk into your doctor's office, truly educated, with every bit of the National Archives.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Everything in every Mayo Clinic.
It's not WebMD where you put your symptoms in and, I've got cancer. no matter what.
It is getting that good.
Yeah.
To where you have your own. And so there's where, the industry is at a changing point. And we have to be educators because education will be free. So the old days of I have the knowledge, you got to come to me is about over. So you really have to provide relationship and value in your services.
Yeah. It's I was yesterday talking about, how there's change in the real estate industry of working with agents and brokers, and they're shifting on, obviously our perception of value is where we're focused on, is making sure we're not just here because you have to be, I have to work with you, right? It's about creating value. And I think what AI will do most effectively is get rid of those fields or topics or subjects that really were just there because you thought they should be there or whatever. It's not. They're gonna really hone in on where value is and where value isn't. So I think you're gonna see the smart, hardworking lions eat, and you're gonna see the ones that were just comfortable getting that.
Ooh-wee. Yes,
it will. Yeah. So in my world, it's not replacing editing. It's not replacing script. It's helping with script ideas. It's helping with suggested scenes or whatnot. And so it just makes me sharper and work more efficient with a smaller team.
Right. Collaborating. It's a synergy. And
100%. I like that word.
100% believe it's a synergy, and I use it as a synergy. There's things that we do better than computers, and computers do better than us. And so once you realize that and where we fit together, you're unstoppable. You're
synergy. Yeah. I mean, that's really what it is working together at your best, possible form and cohesively. And it's going to be amazing, and I'm excited to see where it does go. And where it will be in 20 years, we won't even be able to comprehend it, I'm sure.
No, and that I'd like to predict it a lot of times. My biggest thing is stem cells. Stem cells are just going to, if I predict anything, stem cells will be one of the things that just changes the aging process more than anything.
Yeah.
We have all these little factors.
Yep.
But just cells that go in there and repair the blueprint.
Yep.
That's brilliant.
These are all preludes to, like you said.
This is what's coming.
The framework that needs to be done to have the stem cells really do what they're going to do.
What they're supposed to do. And that's coming. That is coming. And that, to me, is where it really changes. And that's where we have to start really having more tough discussions of society and things like that. So anti-aging this is the start. This is the tip of the iceberg. And I'm excited to go out there and learn about things that are 5 years from now, because that's what I always get over there. And there's just a trade show that shows things that, wow, you are blown away that they're already working on these things.
Really?
Way ahead of time. Yes.
Well, I'm anxious to hear about it whenever you come back
When I
from
come
Vegas.
back,
The next time we get together.
Yeah, I'm going to take some videos for you.
Next time we get together, I mean, you know, I could carry this conversation on for quite a while. I would love to talk about, you know, NAD, NAC, and I know the NAC is new out there. So, so next time we get together, you know, I'd love to hear about the Vegas trip and your new discoveries. But then also some of the other things that we didn't get to cover, like those NAD, NAC that you and I have discussed.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I'll get a chance to talk with, hopefully I'll be able to bump into Curbside Sinclair when I'm out there. Just brilliant guy. Everybody wants to talk to him. Yeah. But hopefully I'll get a chance to pick his thoughts of it. Yeah. I've always been cautious, especially with patients.
Sure.
That I wait to one, it has to be safe.
Yep.
Safety issues in the beginning of NAD because how it works was
my issue. The ways that you can do it too, and there's
really many ways.
One effective way, and the others are.
There's some ways, and they've tried so many different ways to get it in there. So, and the jury was out for a long time. So I'm constantly looking for more evidence, and I know he's a big proponent of it, and he's doing tons of research on it, and to me, is at the top. And so we will get a chance to go over that, and I'll get some of that information from him.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it.
I'll let him know. I get to see, there's Dr. Rajani. He's where I did all my aesthetics. He's on YouTube. Big guy. I'm giving a shout out to him.
Yeah. Dr. Rajani?
Yeah, Dr. Anil Rajani. He's on YouTube. He's everywhere. He's, that's where I did my aesthetic trading program from him. And he'll be up there. So I like to get a little bit from the aesthetics because, I mean, that's aging too on the outside. And so I'll get a chance to meet those guys again and sit down, and they're great. They're approachable, great. The society's it's getting bigger and bigger. I remember when it was smaller, but now it's become so large.
It has
that it'd be a little bit more elbows to try to get up to talk to them. But
I'm sure that you probably this time. I mean, do you go to the conference annually?
Try to go to annual. I missed last year, but I've been several times, and I love it every time.
Bigger every year, isn't it?
Every year, and this year, I just from the advertisement, I already know it's going to be ginormous. So
they might have to split it into two or what?
I know.
Well, so you have two locations. I go to the one here in Katy.
Right.
That's on Mason Road. We'll pop the addresses through. You have one in the Galleria, right?
Yes, and I have that one. I have a partner that I work with over there. It's called iLife, and it has a little bit different feel. It has more of a sports feel, more of a. We get some bodybuilders in there. We got some people that weren't optimizing.
Okay.
And so we have a lot of more optimization. Yeah. Here we're definitely centered more toward those signs of aging, those things that make you age, and reversing those things.
You got it.
Arthritis, joints, everything that can make you sick or make you lame.
Gotcha.
Those are the things that really knock you out of the aging process. And so that's how we attack.
You keep your knife sharp because, like you said, I mean, you're doing two different spectrums, right?
Right.
And so that's cool.
Yeah, and Christian, which I work with over there, Christian Classetti, he's a bodybuilder, trainer. He does all this. I like that because if I get athletes that really are honing in on specific things and they're performing, then we use it. And I used to do this before. I worked with TSU, Rice, Astros, Texans back in the early 2000s with Lowe and Littner and all those at Baylor Sports Medicine.
Yeah.
At that time, we were looking at athletes, optimizing athletes then, but the biggest thing was there's always an athlete doing something to enhance, but you wanted to make sure they did it safely.
And so this within the lines.
Within the lines. And so that's where we get athletes, and we deal a lot more with that over there.
But don't you agree? I think that has probably been a proponent of a lot of some of the advancements, right? Because
that's true.
They're like, well, they're not testing for this. Let's pop this one out there and see what it does. But along those lines, but then along the other line of, you're seeing them get back on the field quicker.
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing them recover quicker, faster, better. It's just the advancements because of sports, have played a massive role. And you know, just
even
like a lot of the
testosterone.
technology you see come from the military, and then they find a
disseminate. Just like in the injections, we do injections testosterone into the fat. We got that from the bodybuilders. They were overdoing testosterone. They couldn't get enough of it, and they were getting all these side effects in the muscle. So they put it in the fat. They could actually do way more. But without as much side effects. So we used that same thing and said, hey, let's put all our oils in the fat since they're both oils. Exactly.
That makes sense.
Makes sense. And you get less side effects. And that's something, like you said, we get from the sports. Taking the gray area from the sports. But their trials and tribulations actually is what we get some of these new biohacks from now.
I mean, it's wild, you know, and you're seeing like the TB12 Academy. I mean, it was more of not just a training style, but it was more of, you know, a function of life. Like it's centered around diet. It's centered around not just training football. And, I mean, look at the guy. He looks like he's 30 still. So good for him. And
that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do.
You're doing it. You're doing it.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Well, thanks again. Have a safe flight to Vegas. I can't wait to hear about it.
Great. No, thanks for inviting me. Thanks for inviting me. I think out of all my journey, this is one of the things. This is just the culmination of all the things I've worked through over years and years in different fields. I think this is where I know I'm supposed to be. And every time I get a chance to talk about it, it just reinforces it. And so thank you for inviting me and letting me talk about this.
Your energy and passion about it is contagious. So I knew when I got there, I was in the right place too. So
appreciate it.
You make me feel like family.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Day.